All right. Hello, everyone. Welcome to week 8. This week, you will be doing your assessment plan in an essay. I'll get onto that in just a minute. But let's look at what this week will bring. You're going to be choosing a couple of literacy standards to break down and create a proficiency. Um, what proficiency looks like, and then of course um, what kind of assessments you'll use. So that'll just be, this is just kind of a literacy thing and not just content standards. So, and you know, what point do you look at literacy, and what point do you assess content standards? And so I'm going to go through the presentation here and kind of let you know what I want you to get out of it. All right, social studies and Common Core. Essential question is, how does teaching content literacy support and enhance social studies standards? Um, Here are the Wisconsin and Minnesota standards here. DPI, okay, you got literacy, and these are the um, right here, the Minnesota ones, which I am far less proficient in. So they do have content standards. You have the reading strand, and if you look at Common Core, C3, any of the literacy standards are going to be really close. The thing I liked about the Common Core is that it is all skills based, which is great, and the skills really drive the content. Um, and scrolling down here, and I don't necessarily want you to read the standards word for word. Like just pick a few random ones out and look at it and see. Always look at the verb. What is the verb telling you to do? Explain, describe, compare, and look at the depth of knowledge on it as well. Um, Determine. You have compare up here. Draw on information from multiple print or digital sources. And these were the reading strands, and you got the writing strands. And the writing can be very subjective, and um, drawing evidence, writing routinely over extended time frames. So all these are really important. Really, the purpose of these is to obviously um, the skills drive the content. And the skills can always be there for them um, throughout their entire life. If you're thinking about summarizing, they should probably be able to summarize at some point. So ensuring that, and they can use that their entire life. Speaking and listening. Uh, so integrating the Common Core and social studies standards, I feel like is fairly easy, and it says right up here. Oh boy, there we go. Grade 2 students, describe the connection between a series of historical events, specific ideas or concepts or steps in technical procedures in a text. And let's see here. Here, determine central ideas or information of a primary or secondary source. Provide an accurate summary of the source distinct from prior knowledge or opinions. So once again, you could, if you're looking at breaking that down um, and what proficiency looks like, well, you got to make sure that they know how to summarize. So you need to define exactly what summarizing looks like. You can even create um, uh, a proficient example for students to look at. Here we are. Right here, write informative explanatory text in which they name a topic, supply some facts about the topic, and provide some sense of closure. So once again, um, I think the skills really drive the content overall, and especially the Common Core, anchor standards, and social studies, they can provide higher levels of rigor. Um, So, interdisciplinary planning, identify social studies content standards, analyze standards, unpacking proficiency scales. You've done that already. Then, of course, aligning literacy standards, depth of knowledge, related overlapping skills. You can look at those and say, I would suggest looking at those and saying, well, um, what are some of the higher level depth of knowledge, and integrating that into the social studies content standards. I had given some of you feedback on how some of the content standards in social studies are not that high a depth of knowledge, so you can actually take from the literacy standards and make it even higher depth of knowledge, um, and kind of weave that in. And I would suggest using the literacy standards for that. Then at the end of this unit, which is this week, you're going to create an assessment plan. And let's take a really quick look at that right now. Scrolling down to week 8, which I will be posting here in the next few minutes. Module 2 assessment plan. And let's look at the rubric for that. So for the assessment plan, you'll be using 3 social studies standards and 1 Common Core literacy standards that you have already unpacked and created proficiency scale for. I've given you feedback, so if you need to improve it a little bit, you can tweak it a little bit and improve it. You will choose a topic for students to explore that uses the 4 standards. So just pick 4 of the standards that you've already done, and then choose a topic that you could explore with that. The purpose of the assessment plan is to unify the 4 standards under one topic. You'll be building a progression of skills and knowledge throughout the assessment plan, unifying the 4 standards under one topic you've created, and define what proficiency looks like for each performance indicator. The assessment plan should be 3 to 4 pages in length, should follow APA guidelines. The paper should refer and cite textbook support, incorporate at least one more outside source. And this is what it'll look like. If you need to put in some of those performance indicators and assessment plans right in your essay, you can do that. If you just want to copy and paste them in there, you can even copy and paste just different parts of it. Just make sure you cite your performance indicator. And like I said, I just want you to unify it, those 4 under one unit plan, under one topic, and use this rubric to help you out. If you need to, make sure you email me with any questions. I just want you to be able to unify it under one kind of topic, which is something that I do on all my units. And yeah, so that's kind of what I want you to do with this. Let's see here. Here we go. In this unit, or in this, this is the end of module 2, of course. And in here, we do not have a discussion post that you have to do. Only the response, which you are breaking down a literacy standard and then turning that in, and then your assessment plan. So no discussion posts this week. And then, of course, next week we'll start week 9, and more on that later. But for now, do your readings to the best of your ability, and then do the response and assessment plan for this, for module 2. If there's, like I said, if there's any questions, please email me and let me know. But good luck this week. And I've really enjoyed looking at your performance indicators and rubrics that you've come up with in the past week.